Hi, my name is Robin Wong and I have here the Olympus 17 F2.8 Pancake lens. I've been shooting it for the past week. I want to share my fresh photographs taken of this lens and my experience using it in this video. Let's do this! The Olympus 17 F2.8 was the first Macro Four Thirds lens from Olympus. It was launched together with the Olympus PEN E-P1 back in 2009. I've recently found a used unit at a very affordable price. I just could not say no. Also, I currently don't have a 17mm lens, so I thought, hey, being a street photographer, I do think that a 35mm equivalent lens is very important. So I've added one to my camera bag. Knowing that this is the older generation lens, the 17 F2.8 does come with quite a few imperfections. This is perhaps the slowest autofocusing lens from all Olympus Macro Four Thirds lens lineup. When it comes to image quality, it does have some flaws as well, which we will explore further in this video. I just want to find out if it is still worth getting the Olympus 17 F2.8 now in 2021, knowing that we do have other better options. For example, the Olympus 17 F1.8. I'm not going to lie, I'm a huge fan of a pancake lens design. I personally believe that the pancake lens symbolizes what Macro Four Thirds system or philosophy stands for. It is made to be extremely compact, tiny, slim, and we attach the pancake lens on any cameras. It is as if you are not attaching anything at all. And looking at the lens, although it is made to be very compact and slim, the build quality is excellent. It is made of plastic, of course, but it still feels really robust and well constructed. There is the metal mount at the back of the lens. The lens doesn't have that many controls. It only has the manual focusing ring, but everything else about the lens is minimalist, clean, and simplistic. Most important of all, the lens is extremely tiny and it matches the smaller size Macro Four Thirds cameras from Olympus or Panasonic really well. To match the compact design and slim profile of the Pancake lens, I paired it with the smallest camera that I have, my Olympus OMD EM5 Mark III. What an amazing combination. It was as if I don't have the lens on the camera at all. It is so light that the weight is negligible. When it comes to handling, I'm just holding the camera. The lens doesn't really exist, and that's perfectly fine. If you want a minimalist setup, you want to carry as little as possible, you want the smallest footprint that you can get, this Pancake lens is what you need. Now, using it on my Olympus EM5 Mark III, the autofocus is quite fast. It is actually faster than what I have initially expected. Though I do have to be very honest, if you compare with any other Macro Four Thirds lenses from Olympus at this moment, even the kit lenses, this is perhaps the slowest autofocusing lens. But this doesn't mean that autofocus is poor. I still can nail some critical shots. It is just that if I want the best performing autofocus lens from Olympus, I'll probably go for the 17 f1.8 or the 17 f1.2 Pro. That will give me a little bit more confidence in nailing critical moments, especially when I'm shooting fast-moving subjects. Having said that, the 17 f2.8 is reliable. I have no issue shooting in bright sunny conditions. I managed to get all my shots. I have very high hit rate, so it shouldn't be an issue if you're not doing anything too serious. I don't think you're probably going to use this lens to shoot sports. You'll probably use other longer lenses. So for general use, documentary, street photography, or casual everyday shooting, I think the autofocus is just fine. To make the lens truly compact and to achieve that slim profile of this pancake design, of course there'll be some compromises when it comes to lens construction. Image quality will definitely be compromised. Having said that, I'm actually very satisfied with the sharpness of this lens. At the center of the frame, the 17 f2.8 managed to resolve plenty of fine details. I get consistently sharp images. However, the sharpness doesn't extend all the way to the edge or the corner. The sharpness does drop significantly. Therefore, I do advise you to place anything important at the center of the frame. You should get optimized results from this lens. When it comes to technical lens flaw control, the lens is not the best from Olympus micro four thirds system. You do get significant chromatic aberration, purple fringing in high contrast areas. The lens doesn't have a built-in extra low dispersion or ED element to correct chromatic aberration. And in terms of flare, you do get a little bit of ghosting and a little bit of softness when you're shooting against a harsh, bright light. Other than that, I do think that this lens is not supposed to be the perfect micro four thirds lens. It is not a pro lens. It is the first lens from Olympus micro four thirds system, so certain flaws and imperfections are to be expected. Are these imperfections destructive to the image? I don't think so. I'm still perfectly happy with the images that I get from this lens. I get sharp images with plenty of contrast, and the images does have that pop. It's a very pleasing rendering, and generally I think for casual use you can't go wrong with the Olympus 17 f2.8. Being in Kuala Lumpur, the unpredictable weather, it suddenly poured cats and dogs, and I have to find a shelter to hide myself away from the rain. Anyways, the shoot must go on. One of the struggles that I would foresee a lot of people have with this Olympus 17 f2.8 is to create blur background. Being a somewhat wide-angle lens at 17mm and f2.8 on a micro four thirds size image sensor, you may not be able to create enough shallow depth of field. You do have to go quite close to the subject to have enough blur in the background. If you want more blur in the background, I would suggest you go for the Olympus 17 f1.8 or even the 17 f1.2 Pro lens if you want to stay with this focal length. Or if you truly want to render even blurrier background, I would highly recommend you get the 45 f1.8 or the 75 f1.8. Other than that, as I've mentioned, there is an Olympus 17 f1.8 which was released much later, and Olympus has fixed all the flaws or imperfections in this original 17 f2.8 in the newer version. Being an f1.8 lens, you can create blurrier background. It is also faster and the aperture is wider. You can use that in low light conditions without raising your ISO numbers too high. And the lens itself, it focuses much faster. The autofocus system is different. And of course, all the flaws, the chromatic aberration, the corner softness, they are all fixed in this Olympus 17 f1.8. Of course, the 17 f1.8 is also more expensive. It is bigger in design. I think it's about more than twice the size and weight of this original 17 f2.8. Of course, there's always a compromise. You can't have everything in one lens. Looking at all the 17mm options from Olympus Macro Four Thirds system, if you are a pro photographer and you care about getting the best of the best from your Micro Four Thirds OMD system, then the 17 f1.2 Pro offers the best of the best. You get f1.2, extremely bright aperture, you have weather sealing, the lens is made of metal, everything, you just get the best image quality possible from a pro prime lens from Olympus. Coming down from that, a more affordable option would be the 17 f1.8, which fixes all the imperfections and flaws from this original 17. I think the lightning agrees with me. Anyway, the 17 f1.8 fixes all the flaws and all the problems which originated from this original first generation 17 f2.8 lens. If you have the budget, go for the 17 f1.8. You will not regret it. The lens is sharper, you gain a brighter f1.8 aperture, and everything about the 17 f1.8 is better than the 17 f2.8 version. However, the 17 f2.8 is a pancake lens. It is truly small, truly compact, it is very slim, and just because of that, it has a place in my camera bag. And in 2021, if you find a used unit, it should be really, really cheap. Considering the dirt cheap price tag, I can live with the imperfections, I can live with the corner softness or the chromatic aberration or the slow autofocus, as long as I know I'm not using this lens for anything serious. I'm not going to use it for my commercial photography shoots. I have my pro lenses for that. Having a truly compact lens to be paired with a tiny Micro Four Thirds Olympus camera, that is something that I want to bring about and shoot every day. I am very sure a lot of you have owned the Olympus 17 f2.8 Pancake lens before, and some of you may even still have the lens with you today. Do you agree with my findings on this lens that I've shared in this video? Please share your thoughts. I would love to hear from you. Leave them in the comments below. If you found my sharing this video useful, if you've enjoyed looking at my photographs, please consider buying me a cup of coffee, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal account. Links in the description below on how you can do that. Any small contribution can go a long way and help me to continue making new content like this and publish them right here. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing, and I'll definitely see you again in the next one. Until then, stay safe and remember to go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.